Right. Hello.
So, hi.
How are you?
Fine, thanks. What about you?
Not too bad. Not too bad here in China. Where are you?
So, I'm in Hungary. We just switched to four time zones yesterday. So, I think we are all a bit under the effect of changing time from 12 to 1.
I see. I see.
So, yeah, but actually, we are on fall break this week, so it's a bit easy now.
Okay. Please introduce yourself. What's your name? And what do you
So my
do?
name is my name is Eva Toth. I'm from Hungary. I live in a small town called Nagykáta, which is 50 kilometers from the capital.
Okay.
And I have been teaching English for 6 years now. I teach in a technical and vocational school, which means that I have students who come from very difficult social background. They have everyday problems with food and basic necessities at home. So it's very difficult. In Hungary, usually those students come to vocational school who perform the lowest in primary school. So they have problems with learning, behavior, they are totally demotivated because they have very negative learning experiences. So it's not easy.
Have you always worked in technical schools?
Uh,
Vocational schools.
Yes, because before the birth of my son, I used to work in a totally different area. So I switched to education after he was born, and it's my first school where I worked.
Oh, so you've worked there the whole time.
Yeah.
And what inspired the change? How did you decide to change careers?
Well, I could say very nice things, but it was totally practical
Okay,
because I had to search for a job which was in our hometown, and teaching was the only option because in Hungary we have very big problems with finding a job, and in the country it's even more difficult. So that was the only way
I see.
to be near my son.
Okay. And so tell me a bit about your students. How old are they? What levels do you teach?
So they are between the age of 14 to 20 sometimes. Um, as for their English, they are very beginners or elementary level. So they even have problems with their Hungarian, let alone their English.
I see.
So as I said, they are very demotivated because they don't have any positive experiences about learning
Hmm.
because they were the ones who were the worst students in primary school. And as for their jobs, I have a class who are going to be shop assistants and tailors, but we also teach some professions like electricians, builders, painters, and in our school there are a bit more than 500 students.
Okay, wow, that's quite a lot of students. So how do you face this challenge of demotivated or unmotivated students? How do you kind of encourage them, and how do you go about trying to motivate them?
So, first, I think it's very difficult to go into a class where there are only demotivated students.
Yeah,
But if you are not motivated as a teacher, you just simply cannot expect them to be motivated. And I think that's a big issue for many of my colleagues who just hate going to classes because the students are demotivated. But if you see a teacher who is totally bored coming to class, then why would they be motivated? So
yeah,
I think that that's the first point.
yeah.
And I think in our school it's more about pedagogy and not about teaching because you just have to treat them as valuable people because they don't have any positive things to relate to in real life. That's one thing. So to almost treat them as equals, as partners in learning, because otherwise it won't work. If you look down on them or if you act as if you were superior
Hmm.
just because you have a degree, that's a very bad starting point, I think.
Hmm.
And I started to use ICT, so information technology in teaching, because the very fact that they have financial problems also triggers a digital gap. So they don't have access to those devices that normal people do in many cases. Or even if they have a device, they don't have a positive uh, how to say they don't have a positive role model because
Yeah.
for example their parents perhaps just finished primary school. They cannot teach them how to use these devices for learning, for example, or just how to perform in real life. So that's how I came into contact with information technology, and somehow to connect their profession, what they are learning, English and real life.
Oh, okay.
Basically, that's my aim.
Yeah, that's an excellent idea. Did you, in terms of using digital tools, I mean, did you teach yourself? Did you do some sort of training? How did you prepare?
During my previous work, I was dealing with information technology, so I knew I was on an average user level, and I started to attend many courses in Hungary, like the Microsoft Innovative Educator program, and also some international courses with the European Schoolnet, for example. And they helped me a lot to find also some tools and also the means how to use these devices.
Oh, excellent. Um, yeah, because for my studies, I'm learning about telecollaboration. It has different kind of titles. I think originally it was called tandem language learning, and
Mhm.
now it's yeah, I guess you can call it online intercultural exchange. The
Mhm.
idea being, as you were mentioning before, kind of mixing language learning and using digital tools, and
Mhm.
possibly if you're exchanging with, if you're doing an online exchange with a group in another country, there could be some sort of cultural exchange. Have you ever tried anything like that?
Well, with my students, we have been doing or dealing with the e-twinning. I don't know if you are familiar with the e-twinning program.
I am
We
now,
have,
yes.
so I have been using e-twinning for 4 years now, and each year we have at least two or three projects which involve ICT and also international communication. Now, at the moment, we have two projects. Last year we had three, and the partners were Italy, the Czech Republic, Romania, and also Turkey, for example. So we always try to find a topic which is relevant for all the participating countries and for my students as well. But we have had some difficulties, for example, the lack of proper devices and lack of wireless network and network issues at school.
Yeah,
But we try to overcome these difficulties.
I see. I was wondering whether you could tell me a bit more about one of your projects, because I'm about to, well, I hope in the future to design an activity, um, and perhaps match my students with another group, possibly abroad. Um, how did you, I mean, did you work with how did you get in contact with your, like your partner schools or partner groups?
Okay, let me tell you about this project that you also mentioned, this Let's Get Down to E-Business. Actually, this project came into the second place at the National E-Twinning competition just 2 weeks ago
No way.
in the secondary school category. And it won the... Are you here?
Yes, can you hear me?
Okay, sorry,
Yes.
because it's just a bit blurred. Your photo started. Okay, so and it became the first at the Czech national competition. So we are very proud of this project.
Wow, congratulations.
Uh, um, as for the partners, I worked with a Romanian colleague. I used to work with her for many other projects. We found each other via the eTwinning forum, and it turned out that she also speaks Hungarian, so we are quite close now to each other.
Yeah.
And there was a Turkish partner. I worked with her at European Schoolnet, and there was also an Italian and yes, an Italian one. We found each other via eTwinning, but it's very difficult to find reliable partners because many of them just somehow disappear while you are starting to work in the project. So I think we are very lucky to have found each other because now we are working on a new project, the three of us. So it's very good to have colleagues like that.
Okay, yeah, because I'm wondering.